Moin! Nach dem letzten Aufreger beim Kartenspiel gucken wir jetzt mal, wie es weitergeht. Where should I head to? Oh, wir können es uns aussuchen. Strand, Sport, also hier wäre sowohl Juliana am Strand, vielleicht Slavia, Boothaus, keine Ahnung. Schade, dass wir nicht in die Bücherei können. Da wäre vielleicht Lena. Keine Ahnung. Infirmary. So, das war gerade in der Mitte. I just kept stumbling forward, wandering around, and came to the infirmary. If I needed an emergency help, then it would be from a psychiatrist, and going to see our nurse did not even cross my mind. Okay, also gehen wir nach Hause. For the first time today, I finally felt how tired I was. There was no light in the window, so Olga Dimitrievna must have been sleeping already. Strangely enough, she waited for me yesterday. I've entered the cabin, quietly stripped and laid on the bed. When you think about it, my situation haven't got any clearer today. In fact, I've spent the whole day doing useless stuff. I would have never even thought about doing something like this in the real world. Although I had plenty of time. How much time would I have here in total is still a mystery. Maybe an eternity, or maybe there are a few minutes left only. I just didn't want to think about the past, about how I got into this camp. For the first time in a long while, I felt really tired. Not only emotionally tired, but also physically tired. Psychologically tired and God knows how else tired. Musik wieder laut, ne? Ja, die Musik ist fast aus. What? Okay, na gut. I just wanted everyone and everything to bugger off, starting with my own thoughts. I wanted this mess to somehow resolve itself. Or at least without my active participation. Mr. Lazyman is either on the run. And what if I'm stuck here forever? Then I have to get used to it. Gibt der schon auf. So just like that, I'm not ready. My consciousness slowly flew away from me and it progressively became harder to concentrate on something distinct. Perhaps it's better to wait until tomorrow. I rolled over and fell asleep. Ja, haben wir einen komischen Traum oder kommt jetzt der nächste Tag? Tag 3, okay. The night left a feeling of anxiety behind. I woke up being exhausted both physically and mentally. It happens to me all the time. You see incredible lucid images in your dreams as if you fell into a Hollywood blockbuster with a plot full of twists, well-paid actors and multi-million-dollar visual effects. And then you wake in the morning without remembering a thing. That's what I was trying to do, to restore the image shown by my relaxed brain. But this part of my memory was empty, either archived or formatted at all. It's 7 a.m. according to the clock. I seem to be an early bird today. Olga Dimitrievna was still sleeping, wrapping tightly in her blanket. Wrapping so tightly in a hot summer? Huh. I got up, stretched, came to the mirror to have a look at myself. I better shave. Strange idea. Before 2 times a month was enough, but now nothing depends on the way I look. I haven't found a razor anyway. Why do I even need it? If I look like I'm 17 at most. So, breakfast can't start earlier than 9 a.m. This means I have plenty of time. Which I can spend in walking and washing, for example. Oder mal rausfinden, was hier los ist. Durchwühl doch mal ihre Papiere oder so. Mann. Water didn't seem as ice cold as the previous day. Vice versa. Its coldness helped me to brace up and to come back to reality. Whether all these events could be called real. The tooth powder didn't seem to be such an outdated thing. A quick thought has struck me that it's not that different from toothpaste. When I returned to the cabin, Olga Dmitrievna was already up. She was standing in front of the mirror and fixing her hair. Good morning, Semyon. Morning. Because of lack of sleep, my head was still singing, and the thoughts were all jumbled together. However, I didn't regret waking up instead of usually sleeping 2 or 3 hours more. Ich hab die Stimme vergessen. Entschuldigung. How come you got up so early? It just happened. And no neckerchief once again. Let me. I'll do it myself, not a big deal. On my way to the canteen. Oh, I don't think so. Do it now. Did you forget about the lineup before the breakfast? How could I ever forget? And what's the lineup going to be about today? We'll discuss the agenda for the day. So, what's the agenda? Frankly speaking, I didn't care what might be on the agenda for our courageous pioneer troop. I was mostly interested in where our brave leader will our little pioneer army for the following 12 to 15 hours. Maybe I will manage to avoid enemy dislocations. Oh, was ist das? Die Katze hat den Vogel gefressen? Let's find out at the lineup. She gave me a wily smile. Olga Dmitrievna, you know, my stomach is getting upset. I'd rather... Well, you know, I believe that's okay to miss a lineup once. It would get nasty if I failed to control it right there. Where did all this courage come from? Courage? You have 5 more minutes. I'm afraid I need more time. Could you tell me right now, please? Sure, I'll try, but just in case it all goes down. Oh, fine. On our list for today is cleaning the camp locations, organizing the books in the library, some other minor tasks. And of course, we have a dance party in the evening. Watch yourself! You must take part in the camp activities today. You bet. Definitely. And now I'd rather... Come on, hit the road. Hit the road, Jack. I came out of the cabin and hid in the bushes behind, waiting for Olga Dmitrievna to leave. Actually, I didn't have any particular reason to behave this way. But the voice within me kept telling that I have nothing to do at the lineup. Hat doch nur keinen Bock. After the camp leader left, I went back to the cabin and decided to wait for breakfast there. Guck endlich ihre Sachen durch, Mann. Well, I'm not planning to take part in community life today. Cleaning and organizing, that's not what someone in my situation should be doing. 2 days have passed and I'm still where I started. All tenants seemed to be perfectly ordinary people. They weren't involved in any conspiracy, weren't communicating with aliens, and no idea about time warps. Of course, each of them is a bit peculiar, but these peculiarities do not step out of line at all. Moreover, having met any of these pioneers in my familiar world, I wouldn't suspect anything wrong. They seem to be even more normal and natural than, let's say, my very self. This line of reasoning was quite logical. The illogical part was the absence of answers. Ordinary people in a non-ordinary place. I've heard and have seen that already somewhere. Dozens of pioneers, or even more, live their familiar lives and do their regular stuff day by day. They don't understand that the world around them is not what it looks like. Okay, but this is their point of view. As for me, I'm not acquainted with both the world souvenir camp and its tenants, even as I seem to behave the way normal people would under the same circumstances. I have to decide here and now, are those people involved in what's happening to me? Can they give me any answers? Or I have to seek the truth somewhere else? It seems I'm a bit overdone with thinking. There's no usual crowd of hungry pioneers near the canteen. Or even inside the canteen. Probably most of them had their breakfast before 9 a.m. That's even better. 2 is company, 3 is the crowd. Lena was sitting in the farthest corner of the canteen, lazily picking with her fork an amorphic lump that vaguely resembled porridge. Having a breakfast with her seems like a good idea. We can have a chat in peace. Or at least try to have one. I was on the way to a table when suddenly somebody grabbed my sleeve. Xenia, the librarian. Aha. Ich hab sie schon wieder vergessen. Take your meal and come. We need to talk. What are you waiting for? I was a bit confused. Pardon, isn't that a bit sudden? What's wrong? Take your meal and sit down. I suppose that she judges her behavior as something completely normal. Nein, wir wollen zu Lena. I was sure that Lena wouldn't mind if I sat next to her. Hold on, wait a second. Sorry, maybe later. I gently loosened my sleeve from her grip and headed to the farthest corner of the canteen. Xenia was shouting something in my direction, but I tried to ignore her. Hi, good morning. Having heard the librarian shouting, Lena was stealing glances at me for a while. Morning. Strangely enough, she didn't blush, just smiled instead. Would you mind if I join you? I'll take the meal and get back in no time. Yes, sure. In a minute, I was already sitting in front of her with a simple set of plates on the tray. Porridge, 2 poached eggs, 4 pieces of wheat bread, a boiled sausage, a glass of compote made of unknown fruits and berries. Have a nice meal. Thanks. I was trying to eat as neatly as I could. No chomping, smearing the food or porridge or the compote over myself. Seems like eating like a human and not like a hog was not that hard at all. The mindful dog. As usual, Lena remained silent. That means I should start a talk. Going to disco tonight? Probably. She kept silence for a while. And you? I don't know yet. Though I didn't want to go there at all. I don't like disco parties since my school days. Why so? What do you mean? My mind was still far away in my school times. Why don't you want to go? I didn't say I don't want to. Okay then. But if you're inviting me... Lena turned red and looked away. I don't really... Sorry, just kidding. I felt confused. It was better not to joke that way. Fine. Indifferently said Lena and focused on her foot, while her face turned even more red. Why do I stuck on this disco if we have nothing more to talk about? But wait, is there actually anything? By the way, maybe you know what Xenia wanted to ask me? Huh? I mean, when I just came in, she wanted something from me. I don't know. I see. The conversation reached a dead end, and so I tried to seem fully focused on my meal. Lena had finished her breakfast first. I should go. See you later. See ya. I was finished chewing on the sausage. It tasted like a twisted pear cable. I wonder if they had internet access here. Guess no. Apparently sitting at the other table had noticed me talking to myself and stared at me. I smiled and waved to him in return. After such a friendly greeting, he, for some reason, left the canteen quickly without finishing his breakfast. Done with the food. It's time to search for some clues. Oh yeah. Sometime later I finally came to the infirmary. I have nothing to do in that place. Though the nurse seemed quite caring, it's better to keep the distance from her. Such benevolence is actually scary. She might know something, but I had no courage to just enter the infirmary. Moreover, I had no motive. Not a single one. Immersed in my own thoughts, I didn't notice the nurse who was standing at the porch. Hi there, pioneer. Da kommt wieder die Musik. She came closer. You must be sick. Came for medicine. No, I was just wandering around. Oh, the truant, I see. But if you're here, I have a serious task for you. I gave her a look of inquiry. The word task made me feel uneasy. It sounded like something inevitable. The nurse smiled spitefully. You both will help me to take inventory of the supplied medicine, which arrived today. Both? Who are we? Perhaps I misheard? But what word can be confused with both? Hi again! Lina emerged from the nurse's bag. Was, wirklich? Sie hat sich hinter ihrem Rücken versteckt? Okay, alles klar. Seems strange that I haven't noticed her until now. Come here after dinner. I had explained everything to Lina. She will tell you what to do. Medicine, huh? Supply today? But Olga Dimitrievna told me that no bus will arrive in the next couple of days. So there were visitors in our camp today? Yes, they arrived from the city this morning. Why are you asking? Just curious. Alright then, pioneer. So tonight after dinner you'll be here. Maybe Lina was barely noticeable this whole time. Surely she's able to keep invisible like a skilled ninja. I could do it on my own. Strange, she seemed more spirited during the lunch. No way, there are lots of boxes. And the pioneer is always ready. Isn't it so, pioneer? Jetzt wird sie auch noch rot. Was hat die vor? She gazed at me and smiled menacingly. I don't want to spend the whole evening doing something like this. Also, I've got more important things to do. But rejecting this request would be really improper. If it wasn't Lina who's standing here, I would definitely think my way out. Yeah. Nicely. That's how a true pioneer should answer. Even after these words, I hardly came a step closer to be prepared. Always prepared. Then you can go. I looked at Lina, who was still staring at the ground. I guess all the time she was staring at the ground was enough to learn everything there is to know about life and habits of different insects. Plus, Lina likes to read, so she probably read many biological, botanical and so on books. Warum? Perhaps she wants to become an entomologist? Was für eine Schlussfolgerung. Where will you head next? Lina's words drew me away from the obscure thoughts. We'd be standing at the square for some time, and my speculations about Buck's lives were only an attempt to escape this awkward situation. Though, where did I see it awkward? Just do not forget, alright? Do not forget what? Well, tonight, after dinner, at the infirmary. Her face got a slightly grumpy feel to it. No way, that's impossible. Alright. After dinner, I'm at your service. I'd bet thought too late, and my words Lina blushed harder. I need to find a way to ease the situation. Why did the nurse ask you to do it? I don't know. I was just sitting at the bench and reading a book when she came, and it's smart to ask a face-safe person who would never say no. Okay. Well then, after dinner. Okay. I'll go then. Yeah, sure. She walked off somewhere aside the clubs, and I just stood at the square for some time. Was denkst du, feist poor man? So what's next? I decided to visit my caravan in order to collect my phone. Don't know where I'll find myself today, but having a watch is always useful. Though having a wristwatch is much easier. Suddenly I heard a different tune, which was coming through the usual noise of the camp. I listened to it carefully. Sounds like an electric guitar. 3 repeating chords, no more. But this melody still was somehow warmer, as if vacuum tube-based audio amplifiers was used. Could there be such a luxury here? Definitely, the sound was coming somewhere from the stage area. I wonder, who could that be? Ich war da letztes Mal, diesmal gehe ich deswegen da nicht hin. Whoever that is, what's the big deal? I have better things to do. I came back to the leader's cabin. Olga Dimitrievna was lying lazily on her bed and reading a book. Übrigens war das die zickige Alte, die Erissa, die spielt E-Gitarre, jawohl. Semyon, what are you doing here? That's what I could ask her too. I've forgotten something, and so I came back. You were absent at the lineup. Oh yeah, I apologize. Alright. Nevertheless, you should do something useful today. Just as I planned. But I have my own visions of what useful means. Like? You could go to the square to help with the cleaning. Slavia is in charge there. Strange, I've just been there and haven't seen anyone. Or you could visit the boys at the club of electronics. They asked me for a hand. Those fathers of invention again. Finally, you could help at the sports club. What are they up to? They are renewing the pitch, fixing the benches, changing the goal nets, and so on. Honestly, none of these options suited me. Why is she always trying to burden me with some work? Seriously, except Slavia, no one ever works here, while some particular people are enjoying their free time with useful spirit. Every leader's attempts to make me busy seems to be following the only purpose, preventing me from finding out my current location. Really, all deep and vital questions concerning my existence are swept away by a broom, together with all the rubbish and litter. In my case, taking some time to work would probably pay off, but same with someone suffering gangrene and rejecting the amputation. I will stand by my beliefs. You know, I already had my own arrangements. Oh really? What kind of arrangements? She bucked up. Well, I can't just tell her what I'm really thinking about. On the other hand, why not? But it's too dangerous. At least now I keep a fragile balance and nothing is threatening me. Everything seems that way. Just as I thought. What exactly she thought remained secret. You probably have not realized yet how important it is to participate in social life. This is the only way to become a role model pioneer. I didn't want to attend another long lecture, so I decided to accept one of the offers. Sometimes the answers in this world are findable in the most unexpected places, or at least I wanted to believe so. So, should I choose for you? The leader's voice turned authoritative. I can do it myself, thank you. Mumbled I into the bird that then went out of the cabin. Slavia. Ja, nee, die Roboterjungs finde ich total interessant. Sports Club, da ist wahrscheinlich Uljana. Ach, egal, gehen wir zum Platz nochmal. Of two evils, well, of three in this case, choose the less, as I say. Slavia wasn't evil at all, so my choice was obvious. Any rational being keeps his house clean, but I usually perceived house cleaning as something similar to gym workouts. Yeah, it's a good thing, but not my thing at all. However, I like the idea of painting the benches or of helping two future geniuses of Russian or Soviet science even less. There were but a dozen pennies at the square. Auf einmal. Where did they all come from, I wonder? Genau. After Slavia. Hi there.
Oh, hi! You've come to help?
Well, not of my own free will, of course. I thought it over again.
I see. Take the broom. Your area is right next to the monument.
Frankly speaking, there was nothing to broom there. It seemed pretty clean to me. Though some rubbish was still laying around. Fig. After brooming for a while, I came back to Slavia, who was sitting on a bench and taking a break. What a nice day, huh?
Yeah, though it's a bit too hot.
She covered her eyes with her hand and looked up in the sky. You're like a tireless worker of communist labor.
Ah, come on. I just like to help others.
That's good.
And what about you?
What about me?
Well, it seems to me that you're a bit burdened by the community service.
Well, probably.
Why is it?
I don't really know. Seriously, she can't expect me to just throw all my ideas concerning this point at her. She might drown in them, God forbid.
Maybe you just don't like company.
It's actually quite possible. There was something true in Slavia's words. I suppose that she was good at reading other people's minds. Or at least at reading mine. Though, how can it be possible if I find it hard to understand myself at times? What are you going to
do when the session is over?
What do you mean?
Well, are you going to enter the college or want to master a profession?
I've already achieved grand mastery at all of my professions, watching anime and surfing the internet. I don't know yet. What about you?
We have a small farm back home, so I want to help my parents there.
It sounded pretty strange. Are there any private farms in the USSR where all the farming has to be collective? But I decided not to go into details.
And what are your parents doing?
My parents were not a good theme to discuss. It is not that my parents are not good. Quite the opposite. They are kind-hearted people. But it's not the right time for such a discussion. My father works at the local council and my mother is a teacher. That wasn't actually true. More like half the truth.
Cool.
She seemed to really consider that a cool thing. I guess so. The dialogue had reached a dead end, so I was trying to take my eyes away from Slavia and keep gazing under my feet, up in the sky or just looking around.
You know, I'm pretty sure you'll also be fine.
Slavia looked at me thoughtfully. Now what was that for? And what was this also about? Thanks, I mumbled. But what do you mean?
I suppose that you happen to be too pessimistic at times.
Isn't it a way too straightforward? Maybe. Ich bringe ihre und Dinas Stimme durcheinander, egal.
But you're gonna be alright.
Maybe. After this conversation, I felt ill at ease. On the one hand, there was nothing special in her words. In general, almost every person being in Slavia's shoes could come to a similar conclusion. Nevertheless, I felt, and not for the first time, like she could see right through me. So, let's get the clearing done, things.
Uh-huh.
She smiled and took the broom. I never thought that cleaning could bring such a deep pleasure. No, I wasn't upset because of this conversation. On the contrary, I was glad to hear that from her. For the first time ever, somebody was discussing my life without criticizing me, without giving any stupid advices based on his own personal experience, without intention to go through my head, and without making some far-reaching conclusion. I was just glad that somebody supported me. No, it's not quite right. I was just glad that it was Slavia who supported me. In a short while, the music was played around the camp, calling for lunch. I put away the broom with a sigh of relief and a sense of accomplishment and went to the canteen. Who is marching forward in a lot? It's our pioneer squad. Was für ein Reim. Pioneers in a lot usually march to this canteen in Semyon camp. I was looking for a place where no one would disturb me, just like it happened before. Just so I can eat in peace. And for that I have to be at least not the last one to come. But I was pretty sure whatever happens here happens, whether I want it or not. The canteen was full as an egg. Olga Dimitrievna was standing at the entrance, guarding like a hawk. Well, Semyon, were you working hard today? Hard enough? Well done, truly well done. And the hardest is yet to come. Oh God. You bet. Fine, take a seat next to the girls. She pointed at the table next to the pillar. Slavia, Uljana and Lena were already sitting there. Not a bad company. At least not the worst one. I took the meal and came up to them. Don't mind if I sit here? I caught myself sounding a bit cynic. There were no other free places anyway. Yes, of course.
Please do.
Lena remained silent. Today the meal consisted of a plate of borscht. I suspected some meat to be lurking in it, but I had no evidence of that. Some poultry, chances are chickenus domesticus, with fried potatoes and a traditional glass of compote. I found myself liking the local food more and more. I guess I just came to a conclusion that I have no other choice, which means there's no use in complaining. Thank God there's something to eat.
Coming to the dance party tonight?
I don't know.
Hey, come! He's got nowhere to go!
Oh, es klingt irgendwie unheimlich. Uljana said happily. You will come for sure.
Of course! I can't miss the opportunity to watch you make a fool out of yourself!
Danke. She got it right, so I decided not to reply. And what about you? Asked Lena.
Yes,
she replied briefly. See?
See? You should go too then,
said Slavia as if leaving me no choice.
Don't forget to put your tailcoat on.
Apparently Uljana was so pleased with her jokes that she laughed out loud. But I really had nothing to wear. My wardrobe was just a pioneer uniform and winter clothes, which would make me inappropriate even in the evening. Oh, and what will you be dressed in, entertainer?
Secret!
Will it be a little dress just like in kindergarten's matinee? Uljana have turned red. Looks like I managed to offend her.
No, I will wear a biohazard suit, just so I don't get any infection from you.
I wonder what kind of infections are you planning to get from me?
Enough, you guys, don't quarrel. Imbecility, of course.
Ich hab's halt ausgesprochen. Looks like Uljana was highly pleased with her, as she thought brilliant answer again. You know, if you already have a flu, you can't catch a cold. It's a game for two.
What are you implying?
Oh, nothing at all. I looked away slyly.
Do you mean that?
She got red again. I don't mean anything.
Guys.
given that it was Lena who interfered. Probably it was really time to stop.
You get what you're asking for!
What? You finally grow wiser? Whoa! Instead of replying, Uliana grabbed her plate filled with borscht and toppled it over my head. This game met an unexpected finale. Oh, you little... She jumped up and tried to run away. But this time she won't get away. I grabbed her hand. Oh, and you know what? I can't just smash her head against the table. This mind show lasted a few seconds. Suddenly, Uliana skillfully grabbed a glass full of compote and splashed it in my face. That way she managed to get my hand off her. She dashed off to the counter and I chased her. This resulted in several flipped tables, a pile of smashed tableware, 5 crippled pioneers with various injuries and full exhaustion on both parties. Oh mein Gott, sind auch Dinge explodiert? Was, ein Hollywood-Film? A drawer, sort of. Mikey Bay anwesend. A beleaguered drawer. With too much of belligerence. We stood before each other and breathed heavily. Tell me, you won't behave like this again.
And you?
Oma Dimitrievna sneaked on us from behind. When you look down on it, such a riot couldn't go unnoticed. Well, are you satisfied with yourself now? Her voice appeared to be calm, but I was sure she was just about to explode. And who's gonna clean up this mess? Exactly what happened. Who, I'm asking you? Who?
Him,
replied Uliana with full confidence. Her? I objected less confidently. Both. The camp leader had given a quietus to the still ongoing argument. Generally, I wasn't sure that my share of the blame is more than hers. Although Uliana didn't have a drop of guilt on her face.
Beat it! I'm not cleaning. Ain't nobody got time for that. This is his fault. He started first.
No, it isn't.
Oh, yes, it is.
I'm not going to sort all of this nonsense. Semyon, go grab a mop, a bucket, some cloth, you know, that kind of stuff in the closet. And you! She looked at Uliana with such a burning gaze that I felt a bit sorry for the girl. You! Start to collect the broken tableware immediately. Olga Dimitrievna took a deep breath and continued. You're nothing but trouble. How many times have I told you? I've decided to skip the lecture and went to the closet that appeared to be near the exit. Suddenly a perfect idea flashed in my head. Why don't I just run away? Sure, Olga Dimitrievna has caught us already, but I'm not the one to blame. Of course, I'm not that true pioneer she keeps talking about, but in comparison to Uliana... Anyway, she's the principal culprit. An dieser schwierigen Entscheidung stoppen wir mal für diesmal. Und beim nächsten Mal werden wir uns entscheiden, ob wir einfach abhauen oder mit sauber machen. Das war euer Nerdmädchen. Ciao!